Hi, my name's Dr. Fraser and I'm the teacher of politics at Durham Sixth Form Centre, and I've been teaching here for about 20 years now. Most of you won't have studied politics beforehand, but effectively in terms of a definition, politics is the study of how public disputes and disagreements are played out in the public sphere and resolved. As such, we can look at almost any topic, and we do look at a variety of issues and topics through the course of the 2 years. We predominantly study contemporary political events. There's very little in the way of history. We look at the recent past, we look at present events, and obviously we're going to be studying the next 2 years as you go through the course. The course takes a sort of largely critical perspective of contemporary politics. We look at the strengths and weaknesses of the current theories and institutions, but we're also looking at how it could be improved in the future. What are the strengths and what are the weaknesses of the present system, and what reforms we might want to consider. In terms of topics, we look at 4 different areas. The first is UK politics. This is how ordinary people engage in the political process, and we look at institutions such as political parties, referendums, pressure groups and voting behaviour. After that, we move on to UK government, which looks more at politicians. We look at the cabinet, we look at the Prime Minister, we look at Parliament and the Constitution and the importance of power. Following that, we move on to ideologies. We look at 4 major ideologies: feminism, liberalism, conservatism and socialism. We look at their different ideas, but we also look at the disputes and differences that occur within those ideologies. And finally, we look at global politics. We look at the theories of global politics, liberalism and realism. We look at contemporary events. No doubt we'll be looking at the Ukraine a great deal next year, but any particular event that affects global governance and the running of the planet we'll be looking at. In terms of assessment, we follow the Edexcel exam board. It's entirely exam-based. There's no coursework. There's 3 exam papers sat at the end of the 2 years. They're each 2 hours long. It's an entirely essay-based subject, so a good command of English will definitely help you. But during the course of the 2 years, you will be taught a significant amount of exam technique and how to write good essays. In terms of results, politics generally does very well. Typically more than 60% of students gain A star to B grades, and quite a high percentage of politics students have gone on to the top Russell Group universities, including those in London like LSE and King's, UCL, but also Oxford and Cambridge, and also to some of the local universities like Newcastle and Durham.